Tyler Reddick won the first stage at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, but his race turned upside down minutes later, literally. This has caused the drivers to talk about safety once again. Most notable Reddick and his boss Hamlin. On lap 89, Reddick took a run on the outside and went 3 wide, with Chase Elliott and Martin Truex Jr. beneath him. They drifted up and contact was made between Elliott and Reddick, leading both drivers to crash. As they proceeded over the track, Brad Keselowski was hit, and all 3 cars spun out of control through the infield grass. Then, in an unexpected flip roll, Reddick's car sank in and toppled over as it traveled sideways across the transition from infield asphalt to grass. His race was over. Reddick will place 36th, and that is a costly one as Reddick is still in the final 8, and now he's 30 points behind the cut line in 6th. It's not over yet, but a must-win situation is coming up if he doesn't score big time this weekend. During the crash, Keselowski's car went back up the track in the final moments of the incident, causing the Team Penske drivers of Ryan Blaney and Austin Cindric to slam the outside wall in avoidance. Cindric, Keselowski, and Reddick were unable to proceed. Defending champion Blaney was many laps down, and Elliott headed to the pit for substantial repairs after meeting the minimum speed. "You just gotta be aggressive on restarts," Reddick explained after being discharged from the infield care center. "It's how this next-gen racing has been since the beginning. I kind of saw them both have a moment and I had just a split second to make a decision. You gotta be aggressive. You gotta try and get those spots back on a restart. It can be hard to pass after a while. By the time I realized I was in trouble, it was just too late. The number 19 Truex starts sliding. The number 9 Elliott was coming up, and I was pretty much already on their outside. At that point, there is nowhere to really go. I needed to make the decision earlier when I saw them sliding. Just be a little more conservative. That would have avoided the incident. Just not who I am, not what we do. It's unfortunate. It took us out of the race. We had a really fast Camry. Thought we would have been in the mix all day long." This leaves Reddick in a difficult place, and it prompted his boss to react on what happened. Denny Hamlin was in the front row of Sunday's South Point 400 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway when Tyler Reddick and Chase Elliott, among others, collided on lap 90. Hamlin, who was in 9th place at the time, watched Reddick attempt a pass up top on Elliott, who was wedged in the center with Martin Truex Jr. on the bottom. On Monday's Actions Detrimental podcast, Hamlin stated that, "You could see it brewing," explaining how Reddick and Elliott came into touch with one another. "You could see it brewing," Hamlin explained. "You had the 19, Martin Truex Jr., and the 9, Elliott, kind of mid-racetrack, and the 19, the spotter was probably telling him he was only 1 car outside. The problem with that was Tyler Reddick was coming on the top side, so you gotta plan for that, but in these next-gen cars, you can't just turn left. We're all taking these cars to the excess limit of the grip. So, the 19's using all the racetrack and he's getting closer and closer to the 9, and as these cars get close to each other and we've seen these aero situations boom, they take a hard right and it takes the downforce off of each car, really biases towards tighter and forces them up the track naturally. Well, the 45 Reddick comes with this huge run and doesn't get to the outside of the 9 until late in the corner, and by then, the 9 wanted to back out. He saw this coming, I bet you 3 seconds before it happened. He tried to back out, but it was just too late." Denny Hamlin also had some intriguing opinions about the grass at NASCAR races after Tyler Reddick overturned his car following a collision in Las Vegas on Sunday. On his podcast, Hamlin stated that he wanted more uniformity in the grass at each race. "It's unfortunate, and certainly we don't have really any kind of standard of consistency when it comes to the grass and the infield and what we have on mile-and-a-halves," Denny Hamlin said. "I just wish we had something more consistency or some sort of here's the standard in which we want the infields. I certainly think the grass was low. We have some tracks where it's definitely higher. Michigan was one where you go through the grass there, you're going to just destroy and it definitely can grab the car. Charlotte's the best by far. They've got AstroTurf there. It's the smoothest. You can run through it. It's the easiest to maintain, but it's the most expensive to initially put in there. Certainly, the grass was a destroyer of cars and certainly caused this one to flip. If we're so hell-bent on these cars not flipping because we think that's a problem, what are they going to do about Las Vegas? If the other issues were a car problem, this is a track problem. So are we going to fix the track problem?" In general, playoff drivers had an awful day in the round of 8 opening in Las Vegas. The impact sent Reddick spiraling through the front stretch grass. His number 45 Toyota went completely over before landing on all fours. Both suffered serious damage, as did fellow playoff driver Ryan Blaney. In assigning culpability for the accident, Hamlin chose Reddick, his 23 Elephant Racing driver. Looking back at it, I thought it was probably too aggressive on Tyler's fault at that point in the race, Hamlin said. I understand he's trying to have one of these big days and he clearly has a car that can win. He doesn't want to get trapped back in traffic, but it just seemed like you're asking a little too much from your competitors down low to leave a lane really late on the exit of the corner and they didn't. The blame probably goes 1A to the 45, 1B is to the 19. The 9 had nothing to do with any of it, like he's just an innocent bystander in the middle who held his lane, saw it coming, tried to back out, and it was too late. Reddick, the Stage 1 winner, ended 35th with Elliott 33rd, 27 laps down. Both have work to do before Homestead next Sunday, as Reddick is 30 points below the cut line while Elliott is 53 points back. Another driver enduring a bad weekend was Ryan Blaney. And in the final laps of Sunday's South Point 400 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, Ryan Blaney seemed to be helping Team Penske teammate Joey Logano in holding off a hard-charging Christopher Bell. Blaney, who was driving a lap car at the time, appeared to be dirtying the air behind Logano, though he later denied this. Denny Hamlin discussed the advantage Blaney may have handed Logano, who hung on to take the checkered flag and moved to the Championship 4 in Phoenix on November 10th. My quick reaction was yeah, certainly, and especially if I was told to, Hamlin said. But I didn't think about how Logano winning does hurt Blaney's point situation. We've seen the Penske teammates work well, if not the best, of any of helping each other in those types of situations. What that was helping was by having the 12 Blaney around you. He's helping push you down the straightaway, even if he's not physically pushing, it's taking drag off your car, which allows it to go faster down the straightaway with you having to run less throttle. He had an ally there that was around him helping him down the straightaways, which allowed him to save fuel and run the speed to pass the 99, Daniel Suarez, and get the win. On the penultimate lap, Bell came within a second of Logano, but ran out of time. He believed Blaney was blocking for Logano, but he thought it was fair play. Regardless of how much time he had, the 12 car was with Joey trying to play defense for him. So, it was going to take the right move to get by him, but we had, 30, almost 40 lap newer tires? I think it's fair game and props to him, Bell said via Bob Pockras of Fox Sports. I think the 22 winning was probably bad for the 12, because they're racing each other for points to get in. So, Penske, they won the race and got one car in, so they did it right. Blaney appeared to take issue with Bell's accusation. 20 didn't get to me until the last corner, Blaney said. I don't know what the hell you think I'm blocking for. I'm running the top. I'm not taking anyone's air away. He should have maybe got to the 22 quicker. He would have been able to pass me pretty easy, but he was half a lap too late. Will this become something Reddick, Elliott, and Blaney will regret in a couple of weeks? Or will one or some of them be able to turn things around in the coming races? What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.